Hi, welcome to Alexandra TV. Today I have a special guest, Dan Fowler. Dan is an amazing person. He's a speaker, he's a trainer, but most interestingly, he's the imagination engineer. Please welcome Dan. How are you doing, Dan?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great. I'm so excited to have you because, I never interviewed the imagination engineer. So can you tell me about it? What's the story behind it?
Well, it's a long one, but I broke into entrepreneurism about 22 years ago, and I started my own video production company, media production company. And it grew and expanded, and we diversified. And I started working with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who are in the self-development space, working on their marketing pieces. And a lot of people came to me for video production. I thought that was what they came to me for, until my clients started telling me that there was a different reason why they were coming to me. And I said, well, Dan, we love your video production, but we could go anywhere to get great video production. So I said, well, yeah, so why do you keep coming back to me? So, well, Dan, you have this interesting ability, your unique ability to be able to tap into our imagination and our ideas, extract them, and then create great media content or engineer that powerfully into our world. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was for about a 2-year period of time, I had several different clients saying something very, very similar to me. And they actually gave me the title of imagination engineer. I didn't give that to myself. And I kind of thought it was a nice little compliment. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. But I didn't really own it. I didn't really grab onto that until probably about, I would say about 4 years ago. I thought, no, I am the imagination engineer. That's just what I do. And I realized that the process I take my clients through on the video production side is very, very different than most video production professionals and how we execute. So I was able to track backwards, and I was able to figure out exactly what I was doing because it was coming out naturally, so I didn't really think about it. So I came and I figured out what I was actually doing in the process, and I created a process so it can be replicated by other people. So that's how I started teaching people in small groups and in private coaching on how to become an imagination engineer themselves and take their ideas and bring them powerfully and profitably into the world. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds great. My gosh, I love those stories when not the person comes up with the title, but his clients, his friends, because they see something in this person that he may not even see himself, right? Sometimes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at that. I was thinking, video production all the way, and I felt a tug. I was feeling a tug into more of a teaching education standpoint. But I felt like that maybe would not be on the table because of my production company being around so long, and that's what people saw me as. So it's been an interesting transition over the last 2 years of, yes, I still own the production company. Yes, it still is running fine, but I am now more hands-off. I'm still CEO of Red River Productions, but I am now have transitioned into more of an educational base, training base, teaching people how to really use these tools of imagination and engineer them into the world.
Wow, yeah. That sounds great. My gosh. So you kind of made this amazing transition, and it looks like it happened for you naturally, right? It's not like something you'd decided one day, oh, I want to do that. How did it happen?
Yeah, well, I actually realized that I was embracing my true self that I hadn't been for years and years and years. Although I'm really, really skilled in the video production stuff and all of that, I realized that those were just my skills. That wasn't my gifting. So there was a difference because I learned how to do all the video production stuff. That just didn't come naturally. I wasn't tapping into my true gifting, and also it was also a thing of the past because of my parents. My parents don't really believe in the dreaming or the imagination or anything like that. And it was always a taboo. I wasn't really encouraged to use my imagination. It was actually push that away and be practical, be reasonable, responsible. And so I was trying to do that, but there was always this part of me, my soul was always saying there was more. And once I decided I'm going to chuck this traditional model of being responsible, being practical, etc., of trying to achieve that and just go into, let me try to be who I am. Guess what? Things happened. So I was responsible. I was being practical because the abundance started to come. I'm like, oh, I've been stupid for for decades now. And so I made that shift and realize, okay, I really need to just go and explore who I am and not self-edit myself. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think what I read about you, that you really let people to dream. You know, as you mentioned, like in our society, we're not really allowed it to dream. Just you got to be practical. And I think like the worst thing that anyone can do to themselves is to betray their dreams, because if they betray their dreams, they betray themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really inspired by that. You let people dream, and you help them understand that it's possible, correct? That they can dream and they can achieve their dreams. Is that right?
That's correct. And it's a system that we've worked out. I mean, I have 6 steps. What I call it's manifesting on demand. And so this dream thing it's not just about, thinking of ideas and wishing for the best. It's how do you process that? How do you put that through, like I call it, the manufacturing plant, and run it out the other end so you have something tangible. And so I teach people these concepts to go from ethereal to material. There's this transition. Most people get stuck in the transition from this cool idea to actually tangibly bringing something like that powerfully into the world. And for me, I kind of stand in the middle. I'm like half super creative and half really, really analytical, critical thinking, I'm like super literature dude. So I mean, I read constantly. And I'm also on the side of like, okay, anything can go. And anything that you can think of or dream of or meditate on, it can become a reality. But there are some steps that have to be taken. Mm-hmm.
So can you share maybe a few cool advices that can be really beneficial for our audience?
Sure. I think there's some misnomers, like some preconceived ideas about manifesting that, I think people try to use them and then they get frustrated about manifesting. Oh, that doesn't work. So like the law of attraction, that's only one law out of all of these other different universal spiritual laws. And to extract that law and just focus on that and try to apply that by itself without relation to anything else, that's a problem, because then you're going to have problems with manifesting. It's not in context. I'm a big believer in context. And so there's other universal laws going on. And I kind of equate this to like science. So when you're talking about the law of gravity, you must also talk about the law of inertia. Those two must go together. And there's many other things that can go together in that play as well. So we understand this in science, but so it baffles my mind that we don't apply it in the spiritual sense, because physics is also there in the ethereal world too. And so people extract the law of attraction and they think, if I just do this, I'll get everything I want. And that's not the case. You have to see how it plays in line with the rest of your ecosystem, the rest of the laws. So that's one thing. The other thing about manifesting and really getting your life jazzed up is knowing how your energy is flowing. And it's not just flowing through you and out of you, it's where it's going. And sometimes I call it a recycle. It's not just coming out of me, it's going back into me as well. So when people talk about like intentions, I'm going to set an intention, or I hear a lot of time, I'm going to throw intentions out into the universe. I'm going to send my intentions out there. I'm like, really? I mean, or are you going to, it's like they're waiting for the boomerang to come back, right? And I thought,
right.
Well, in order to catch the boomerang on the way back, 2 things have to happen. You must do nothing and stand still. Or else if you move, you will miss the boomerang. Therefore, you're static. Therefore, you're no longer growing or evolving. And when we do that in life, or we do that in business, or we do that in the universe, when the universe is static, it dies. So we are actually creating a system in which we will never manifest, and we are actually diluting our energy output because we're throwing our intentions everywhere. I tell people, throw your intention right back into yourself. It is an intention, internal. Oh, this is my intention. I'm clear on it now. Boom, I'm going to throw it back in, and it creates what I call the gravity well. It's like a black hole that just anything that nothing can get away from it. The gravity is so strong. And this is where you start sucking in the people, the resources, the money, the whatever, into your gravity well. They come attracting to you. You do not have to chase them. So I always tell people about dreams. I said, don't chase your dreams. Have your dreams chase you. I mean, that's what it is. But there are processes behind that to cause that to happen. So that's another one. And then I guess my last point is understanding that it's never a linear path when you are manifesting what you want in life. It's never like, okay, I want a new car or a new job, and I'm gonna do all these things and get it, and then go, I'm done. No, it's a cyclical path. So every time you manifest, you are now getting more awareness. My 6 steps real quick are awareness, energy output, gravity well, imagination, dreams, and then manifest. Every time you manifest, more awareness comes to being. So you start back at square one and you keep going, keep going. So the manifesting is like this blossoming flower, keeps opening, 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 opening. And it's not a linear thing. Oh, I achieved that. I achieved that. Nothing straight line. It's all cyclical. So that would be something to change that perspective a little bit.
Ooh, I love that. That I can totally say that, yeah, you have an engineer mind and imagination mind at the same time. It's just amazing. But I really like what you said. You will like look at the whole picture. It's not just one piece, like just the law of attraction, just sit on the chair, just imagine the great life and it's going to happen to you. You have a whole system behind it, which can be replicated, right? That's
Absolutely.
what I like it.
That's the whole point. I mean, we're designed to do that. So we are all perfect manifestors, by the way. We are master manifestors in life. So, but we just have been tuned in to a certain frequency and we're manifesting things that we quote unquote don't want, right? So, but we all can manifest. We all do it every single day. So let's change the frequency. Let's change the radio dial and dial into the station we want. When we dial into the station we want, then two are connected and we are right there in the moment. I talk about multi-dimensions as well. Like everything that you want to have happen is happening right now, but it's on a different frequency, so you're not perceiving it. It's static. You're in the middle between stations on a radio dial. It's all static. So when you're able to get in clear and on a clear channel, boom, you have the instant clarity of like, this is it, and it's instantly there. And I truly believe that everything we want, whether it's that new job, that new relationship, that new business development, it's all already there. It's already exists now. It just happens you need to dial into that frequency of that thing. Yeah.
Sounds great. It sounds a bit like a quantum physics. Is that?
Absolutely. Well, I don't separate spirituality and science. I just don't, because I think they go hand in hand. And whether you're, an atheist or an agnostic or a Christian or whatever else, doesn't matter. There are these spiritual principles, these ethereal, let's call them that, ethereal principles that are going on at the same time that these scientific things that we can see with our eyes and our microscopes happening at the same time. So if we're able to manipulate one, we're able to understand mathematically one, we can do the same to the other and quantify it. We're meant to be able to do this. God didn't say, oh, I'm just going to make some mysteries over here and you're never going to know about it. You're just going to have to guess about it. Like, no, he wants us to discover them, but he's given us the tools, one of them being science, in order to unlock those mysteries and apply them more effectively in our lives, to be more humanitarian throughout the world, and cause an impact for massive change, peace, and a big shift. Wow,
that sounds like very, very interesting. My gosh, so much information. And there is one piece that I heard that I really like because I'm a big fan of reading books. I love it. It's one of my hobbies. And I'm sure you probably read tons of books that expand your mind. Is there any particular book that you would recommend for people to read so they can kind of start thinking like you think, maybe expand their mindset?
Yes, it's actually a good friend of mine, Chris Cohn. I mean, he's got a book. I'll put it up here on the screen a little bit here. It's called it's The Conscious Creator. So I don't know if you can see, there's his name, Chris Cohn. You can check that out, Conscious Creator. And great book. He talks about 6 ways in which to manifest. He's got an interesting slant on all of that. And I actually agree with a lot of it. And it goes in line with a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching as well. Chris, he's actually from the real estate background, and he's understanding, he came and had a spiritual awakening himself and yada, yada. It's a good book. So people who are very analytical and going, I don't know about that stuff, and want to transition over, they think there's something there, this is a good book to read.
Oh, that's great recommendation.
You're welcome.
So, I know, and now I really want to talk about something that I learned a while ago, and I'm really excited about it because, I've been to a lot of events, personal development events, training, workshops, but there's something that you created that sounds very unique, cutting edge. You call this event the Imagination IQ. So can you tell me about that? Because I'm very curious about it.
Sure. Well, we chose the name because it's an imagination and then intelligence quotient, and so they seem like they don't go together, but they absolutely do. So how smart are you relating to your imagination? People don't think about that because we have been told in society and brought up and trained this way that imagination is a dirty word. Don't use that. That's only for kids, right? Don't use that imagination. And so I wanted to bring imagination back and bring that stigma off of it, that it's not a dirty word. It's not something that is childish at all. It is something that is the foundation bedrock of everything we do. And so I kind of say the term of imagination is the operating system of the universe. And I explain that in our events too. But the event is a lot of deep teaching like this about how to manifest on demand, but it's in a context of fun and games, interactive exercises, live music, very cool, in the round, beanbags, things like that. So it's very easy, very restful, I'm like in a safe place. So my experience, I go to probably about 20, 30 events a year. We all go to lots of events. And pretty soon, when I started this track, I realized, every event seems very, very similar. So it seems like, oh, I know when lunch is going to be. I know when the speaker's going to speak. I know when the pitches are going to come. It's like, okay. And then I know when to tune out. I thought, I'm going to these events not for the event. I'm going to the event for the people that attend the event to network. Like, okay, well, that's cool. There's all people in one place, and I get to interact with them. So I kept doing that, but it really bothered me for a long, long time, for several years, going, this just doesn't feel in alignment with me and really what they're saying on the stage. If I listen to what they're saying, what they want to do in the world is not being echoed in the actual event. And I'm like, well, I thought I was crazy for it because I'm like, there's hundreds of people at these events. I must be just nuts. But it kept bothering me. So I created a survey. Quick survey, takes 2 minutes on my iPad. And I thought, I'm going to take this with me to these events I go to, whether I'm speaking or just an attendee. And when I network with people, I'm going to share this survey and ask them to take it, a couple minutes. Over about a 18-month period of time, I got 400 plus event goers who I interviewed and took this survey. And guess what? 98% of their answers were exactly like mine.
Oh, really?
I was like, this is interesting. Then I looked back at their survey. Well, why do you still go if you have all these pet peeves? And the number one reason was, well, I didn't think there was anything else, or there wasn't an alternative. And I'm like, okay, I get it, God, thanks. I get it. If I'm bugged by it and I'm taking the survey and I've got data collection now and I have the background in which to create a new event, I'm going to do that. So that was the birth of this new epic event experience model that we decided to do. And I was already doing the imagination engineering small group stuff. And people were telling me, you should do a bigger event. You should do a bigger event. I was like, oh, I don't know what I would do with that. And then I finally connected the two. Said, okay, we're doing Imagination IQ, imagination engineering, the whole manifest on demand curriculum. And we're going to put it into a context of this high learning, high modality, high touch, high tech environment. So I went through and did a lot of research on the energetics of a traditional event, why you feel so darn exhausted by the end of it. And it's not just because it's a long event. There are energetics going on that actually suck the energy out of you, from you to the stage, and it doesn't come back. Mm. Yeah. And so just imagine that you're sitting 90 degrees or, in a 90-degree angle in a chair for an hour, 2 hours at a time, and you're looking up at a stage. That actually messes with your whole energetic flow in your body. And you are actually giving up your life force in that process. Now, I don't think it's malicious or anything. That's just the way we've been doing it. But ultimately, this becomes a problem when you are trying to have transformation. So that went away. We got rid of hotel chairs, got rid of tables. We even got rid of the stages too, because I don't believe I'm better or higher or more prestigious than anyone else in that room. So when I'm teaching right in the middle of you. And we do everything in the round. So there's people on this side of me, there's people on that side of me, there's people in front of me, sometimes people behind me, and we're all in it together, so to speak. All my speakers do the exact same thing. They don't speak on a stage. They speak right there. Most of them actually sit down with the rest of the group. like in the beanbags. I had my speakers, they just naturally grabbed a beanbag and sat down with the group that's around. So it's more intimate, more specialized. Plus, I also found that there's only two methods of learning in a traditional event. What I hear from a lecture and what I see maybe on a PowerPoint or maybe a video on the screen. That's it. And there's no other learning per se or embodying that. So we do lots of movement. We created, with the help of Alex Iglesia, he's a movement embodiment specialist. He and I created an IP with the 6 steps to manifest on demand. And we've created movements that go to each one of those steps. So you can start embodying the content. So it's very kinesthetic. We use audio and visual, of course, do lots of crayons and coloring and gluing and yeah, lots of crazy stuff like that. Like get back to when your childhood, when imagination was okay, because magical things can start to happen. So we've created an environment that's kind of like a Broadway show meets the House of Blues meets The Price is Right, the game show. So that's kind of the environment. Plus, there's a lot of great information going on, and we set it up so you are there to get the transformation at the event, not for us to push you into a program to get transformation. You're coming for the event. You're not coming just for the networking, although that's going to happen too. Yeah.
Wow, my God, this sounds like so exciting, so interesting. I like how you combine so many components, and it's really innovative in the cutting edge way of learning, because like how many of us went to event, day event, 3-day event, you have so much information, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna implement all that, and then Monday comes, and then what do you do with this?
Right.
You know,
right.
What I have feeling about your event, that you pretty much learn right there on the spot and you start implementing that, correct?
You do. Absolutely. It's not just about implementing into your business, but getting it to become part of your body memory. Like we talk about the gym, you're like, okay, body memory. Your body knows what you're doing in certain movements. Well, that's exactly how your brain works. So let's do that in learning high-level spiritual or business concepts. You learn the concept intellectually, and now you ingrain it into your DNA through movement, through activity, through art, through a bunch of different modalities. And combining those in a very specific way, we have created a system where people are having transformation, not just breakthroughs, transformation, where they actually know what to do the next day when they leave the event.
Wow,
yeah,
that's great. That's great.
And
I know that, sorry.
That's right. No, I was just going to say that a lot of them, they want to come back and be part of it. Like a lot of my speakers in the last few events have been attendees. They're like, I so want to be a part of this. I saw how that was. I never saw that before with how speakers run at your show. So I want to talk to you about that. I'm like, wonderful. Let's do that. So it's becoming this happy family community that's kind of recycling a bit, but also expanding as well. And that's always good too.
That's great. That's great. And I know you really believe in quality. That's why you kind of try to keep the group not too big, correct? So you have like a limited amount of tickets, seats, whatever. Is that right?
Right. We cap it at 75, and we average around the last couple of days, it's been about 50 people, but we will go max 75 if we get that, but that's fine. 50 people, you're going to get a lot of personal attention. I'm not one of those speakers or educators who does their segment and then disappears behind the curtain. I'm always there. I'm always interactive. I'm always doing activities with you, unless I'm organizing, doing a particular one or setting it up. I'm there if another speaker is having activity. I'm doing the activity right next to you. I'm not. We don't create an elitist environment where I'm here to teach you. Yes, I am here to teach you, but I'm also just like you too.
Great. Sounds great. My God,
yeah,
that sounds like an amazing event. So can you tell me where people can learn more about it? Like if they want to go, maybe register or just read the testimonial, what is the best website to go to?
Sure, they can go straight to imaginationIQ.com. imaginationIQ.com. Real easy. You can take a look there. It has all the explanations of what we do, why we do it, that we don't have any pitches from speakers, yet they sell a lot. That's an interesting. We don't have any hotel chairs. We do everything in the round. There's not this pitch fest, and we believe that it's not we don't give you a content fire hose. We believe that context is king, not content. Just because you have more content doesn't mean you're bringing more value. We want to have less content, but more context in which you can embody that content. So that's how we shift that. Just looking out the testimonials, we got great videos on there as well. Got some textual ones on there too, but some great videos from some of our events. And we also do an interesting thing with our tickets, because we're not here to gouge you. We want you to have the transformation. We have a thing called choose your own price, meaning you can choose whatever you want to pay, whatever you want to pay. And this blows people's minds. It's like melts their brain, because the people come like, what is the price? I'm like, whatever you want it to be. And it gives, I believe in giving power back to the people. And so it's like, take your power back. I'm not going to be the one that says this is what the value is. Value is not decided by me. Value is decided by the end user. So you're the end user. You tell me how much this is value to you if you want to attend. And
wow.
whatever that amount is perfectly fine with me.
Wow, that is amazing. I never heard anything like that. My God, I'm going to go right now. So guys, everybody just go to imaginationIQ.com and learn more about it and register, because I know I'm going to go, because it sounds so awesome, so exciting, active, doing a lot of stuff. And it's a different type of event that will expand your mind, you know, versus sitting in this like school type of workshop. So I do really recommend. And after talking to you, Dan, yeah, it's just definitely, you got to go for it.
Thank you. The next event is in August. It's in Orange County. It's in Anaheim, actually. So it's August 13 through 15. And we do it 4 times a year. So once a quarter, we do 4 times a year. Last one we just did was in April. We just did that one in Irvine. This one's in Anaheim. We have one in October, 29th through the 31st. And that was in the Northern California area, Sacramento area. So if you're interested in the Anaheim one's up on the website now. But if you can't make that one, or you're in a different location and the Sacramento one sounds better to you, let me know. You can always contact me through the website, and I can get you information for the October one.
Sounds great, Dan. Thank you so much for being my guest today. My God, I had such a great pleasure talking to you. I learned a lot. I'm really excited about the event, and it was really great, valuable interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on here and blessing me with your great interview as well. I had a great time.
Thank you. Friends, if you like this interview and want to learn more about events like this, click on the banner to your right and sign up for the newsletter now. Until the next time, remember, live, love, and smile. See you soon.